We want to see what's going on because there's a very good shot that he made that even FIFA couldn't, ignore. So let's see. Let's get into it, Mark. Ssali.
Yeah, so what Pal is talking about is Denis Omedi's goal for Kitara against KCCA in the league has been nominated for the Puskas Award. The Puskas Award is an award for the best goal of the year that is given by FIFA, named after Ferenc Puskás, that legendary Hungarian striker who played for Real Madrid in the 50s, in the late 50s, when they won 5 straight Champions League titles between 56 and 60. And it's every year they give it to the best goal that has been scored across the globe. It doesn't matter the competition, it doesn't matter the country. And so, in fact, when you look at the nominees for the Puskas Award for this year, there are 11 nominees and they come from everywhere in the world. Of course, I was happy about the fact that there's 4 Africans on there. Denis Omedi, who is our striker, Uganda Cranes, is keeping company with Paul Onwachi from Trabzonspor, that's the Nigerian from Trabzonspor. There's Yassine Benazir, the Algerian, who scored a wonder goal as well in the qualifiers for AFCON this year. And then you've got Mohamed Kudus. Mohamed Kudus, who is Ghanaian, who plays for West Ham, scored a goal against Freiburg, which was a great solo goal, the Ghanaian. Waltzing through the defense and scoring. There's several other nominees, of course, from all across the world, from Qatar, from Honduras, from everywhere. And of course, there are 2 world-known stars of the moment. One is Alejandro Garnacho from Man United, scored a great scissors kick against Everton. And then the other is Federico Di Marco, the Inter Milan left wing back. So there's quite competition there. All the goals are beautiful when you take a look at them. Of course, I'm going with Omedi. I've been launching a small campaign for him on X actually as well amongst Ugandans. It's not only that he's Ugandan, of course, I'm quite biased there, but also because it was a really, really beautiful goal.
It has everyone
the talking. Goal he scored, and when you look at it on the screen, is what in football they call a rabona. A rabona is that kick that footballers do when they spin their foot, a kicking foot around the standing leg, and kick the ball with that foot from behind the other foot. And usually they do that because it is their stronger foot. If you're an inverted winger, say playing off the left with your right, there's a chance that you might not be able to cross with your left foot, and so you swing your right foot around it and cross it and all. Omedi was not doing that to cross. He was actually doing it to score. There are two Rabonas actually nominated in there. The other one is from a guy called Jaden Philogene from Hull City. He plays for Hull City in the Championship, so he scored that in the lower division in England. But his was from a closer range. Omedi's was from quite far, so it was outside the 18-yard area actually. Beautiful goal. It's put Uganda on the map. Not only him, but also the voice on there. The commentary is from a Ugandan called Peter Otai. So his voice has also gone global under the circumstances because all the goals are being shown with the commentaries from the different countries. Some are in different languages, but most thankfully in English for the guys who speak English. Now, the excitement, of course, for us is that if he wins this, he becomes a global name. And he's scored quite a few spectaculars like that. We talked about the one he scored against South Africa for Uganda. In South Africa, when we do 2-2 in the CHAN and AFCON qualifiers for 2025. But I remember the excitement I have over that Omedi goal is the same excitement I remember having, and Mark knows this because I've written about it before. When Majid Musisi's name was first nominated for the International Goal Getters competition back in 1992. That competition, I think, is defunct. It's no longer there now. There's some different other categories now which they've come up with. But that time, Majid Musisi was the best striker in Uganda. In 1992, he had scored 28 goals in the league before he left for France for a Stade Rennes. He was just 4 goals away from breaking a record that had stood since 1978, from Jimmy Chironda as top scorer in the league. And he was going to do that easily because he had only just scored 4 goals against KCCA in just the one game before he left. So that record had stood. Of course, Andrew Mukasa has since broken it. But the excitement I had when Majid was nominated that time was big. It was the same. He was putting our guy in the global picture. We didn't have the social media we have today. We didn't have the because now Omedi's goal is going all over. Most people at the time had not seen a single Majid Musisi goal. because we didn't have the kind of digital gadgets that we have now, spreading things around. But he was keeping company with on that list with such exalted names as Jean-Pierre Papin, who was a Frenchman who was scoring lots of goals then. Marco van Basten, the Dutchman who had been scoring for the Dutch and AC Milan. Guys like Jürgen Klinsmann had been scoring goals for Bayern Munich and Germany at the time, and then he'd crossed to Inter Milan. There's so many of exalted guys, and there were only 2 Africans in the list, a whole list of international goal getters. Majid Moussa and George Weah. George Weah was playing in France at the time before he moved to AC Milan. He had been playing for Monaco under Arsene Wenger and was playing for Liberia as well. He had also played for PSG, by the way. But the excitement I had then was amazing because I was just a young man going into university, had designs on, of course, not only playing in the league, which I would do the next year, but also writing and covering, doing this coverage and all. And I thought that this had made him famous. I don't know, actually, those goals, never mind the nomination, those goals contributed to him actually getting the contract he got at Rennes as a first Ugandan player in Europe. So you can imagine the opportunities Omedi is going to get because right now the whole world knows. It's different from the Marseille era. Right now the whole world knows. I don't know what Mark thinks, but for me, this is a great opportunity. And if Omedi lands a contract in Europe one time soon, it's going to be largely because of this nomination.
Goals like the one Denis Omedi struck for Kitara against KCCA precisely why we love the game of football. We've watched football for so many years and we've seen just about everything. We've seen possession, we've seen defensive football, we've seen attacking football, we've seen counter-attacks, we've seen so many things. But when a player takes the initiative, when a player displays that sort of arrogance to pull off that kind of trick, many times you're going to have coaches lambasting him. You're going to have, if it doesn't work out, it will be called arrogant and, thinking about himself. But it takes some kind of ingenuity and self-belief and confidence to pull off something that Denis Omedi pulled off in that Super 8 game for Kitara against KCA. And believe me, I don't remember what the result was, but we shall talk about Denis Omedi's goal forever and ever. Amen. Because, it was some strike, the control, because they had first control the ball, and then after killing the momentum of the ball, just to how he envisioned that, the goalkeeper was not going to be at the far post, and just the weight of the ball, and just pulling off the execution, it was amazing. And Omedi's goal will live long in the memory, and like Mark said, today we live in a digital age where everything is archived, so we can relate with Omedi's goal. Even our children will see the brilliance of Omedi's goal, and even our grandchildren. I talk about Majid Musi. I do not know if there's, the footage which is living of Musi's goals today is very limited.
Yeah,
and
truly limited.
Not so many players can relate to Jackson Manja, to Majid Musi. Listen, I can't relate to Philip Omondi.
Yeah, I know, because of that,
Yeah, because of that.
Absolutely. So Mark, actually, when you say that now, it reminds me, for Musisi's goals, for example, if you went into Google or onto YouTube or whatever, you'd find some goals from Puskas Sport.
Yeah, but it's grainy footage.
Very few grainy footage, and maybe 1 or 2 from Rennes, almost nothing from Villa. And that's where all his goals were. So imagine, some of the goals.
Are they in colored?
Yeah, they are. Some of the goals I described to many people about that Moses scored are just in my head and in the head of several others and all, which will go with us. So if maybe the 2 goals he scored in the Champions League final in '91 against Club Africain when Villa was 6-2.
There's footage for
because that was in Tunis.
A couple of years ago, Hassan Mobiru, remember when Denis Omedi scored that magnificent goal against Newcastle when he turned Nikos Dabizos. That was I think 2002. Hassan Mobiru scored the very goal at Nachivo, the very goal.
Yes.
The following day, but you cannot, unless you are there, to tell people that Mobiru scored the very goal backup squad. People will think you
think you're mad. Yeah, and I remember that very well. By the way. Something interesting.
And then the kind of goal Mohamed Kudus scored as well. Mohamed Kudus against Freiburg in the Europa League last season. I was at Wankuluku this was, I think, 2003.
Yes.
Hassan Mabiri scored the very goal against Uganda.
Yes.
He picked the ball from the center of his own half, and he dribbled through Uganda midfielders and defenders like they're not there. And then he placed the ball past the Uganda goalkeeper. The very goal could have scored.
Could have scored.
But unless you had the footage, no one is going to, people will not know how great Hassan Mabiri was.
Yeah,
So,
imagine that.
I mean, it's unfortunate that there's no digital archiving from that era. There's no footage.
It's unfortunate, yeah. By the way, and of course for us, it's because we've only started keeping records recently. You can imagine. So I'll refer, for example, to the difference. He's talking about 2003.
Yes,
I talked about 92.
That's
The rabona was first scored, it's believed, was first scored in 1948 by an Argentine called Ricardo Infante for a club called Estudiantes. They were playing against Rosario. So that word rabona actually comes from Argentina. It was part of a statement that was made in a caption under the cartoon of this guy scoring, of Ricardo Infante scoring, in a magazine called El Gráfico. 1948, they're already doing this magazine. This is Argentina. And so this guy, it was about, it was saying the child who skips school. Rabona actually refers to the child who skips school. With permission of the parents, by the way, if you like. Yeah, but so it was baptized then from that goal by Ricardo Infante, and it's been scored over the years severally and all. For us, like Mark says, the one which is going to live in the memory forever,
This
Denis
one here.
And beyond that, Mark, we've talked about football and how it's very important. The stakes are high, teams want to win, results are key, trophies are important. But for a footballer to have the kind of balls to do what Denis Omedi has, I mean, it takes a certain level of confidence and see what has done for him. I mean, Omedi has become transformed. Scoring goals for Cranes, he's become an integral part of Paul Putt's team. He's got years on his age, and I think the sky is the limit for him. If he keeps his head down, God knows what his career can turn out to be. You can be sure that his next contract, that is the goal, which is going to determine, it will form a very solid bargaining chip for the contract he signs in his next club.
Audacious.
All right, that's amazing, guys. At least for now, we have all the digital, machines, available. So live long to see that.
And of course, for those who are watching, please, you can go and vote as many as you can. I've already voted. Mark has already voted because Denis Omedi is Ugandan, and listen, it would be history.
Why not?
For Uganda to win the FedEx Puskás goal of the year.
All right.